And welcome back to another episode of Frantic Nerdcast. Hello all. It is fantastic to be back again for episode 41.
So good to be back. How are you doing? Zach, how you doing?
I'm just happy to be brought back again. It's great.
Excellent.
You haven't fired me yet?
Oh, not yet, but mate, you're getting close. You're pushing a few boundaries and whatnot.
Yeah,
you'll find
out next week.
It's all right.
Find out next week about what happened there.
They've got me in the social media dungeon churning out posts, so I think I'm pretty safe.
Exactly. How's your week treated you? What have you fellas been up to?
Not much. I've got played my last game of ice hockey for the year.
Ooh.
Got semi-finals this weekend.
I thought ice hockey just kept going all year.
It does, but like we've got our rep season now, and then we go like in-house, and then back to rep, and then in-house, back to rep. So it's pretty much all you like.
So you don't have your last game of the year.
No, this is the rep season. No, rep season. Last game's done. We've got semi-finals this weekend. If we win, grand finals the weekend after.
That's one of those funny things. Like talking to you about ice hockey over the years, it's kind of like, oh yeah, got my final and grand final, whatever coming up. It's like, oh yeah, sweet. And then a week after the grand final, you're like, oh yeah, won it, and then just played tonight. Oh, I'm like, fucking, you just keep going.
The grand final was last week. What do you mean you're still playing this week?
Exactly.
I know, different season. Different
season. New season. This is rep
now.
now.
That and I painted myself a statue of Gwen Stacy, Spider Gwen.
Yes.
Saw
Have
that.
you put that up on the socials?
So that's up on my socials. Yeah, I'm weed up by
Actually
AJ.
surprised it's not front and centre here, mate.
She's a bit big. She's not quite finished yet though. She's done, but the base isn't done yet.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I've just got to finish the base off.
No, it's looking very, very good, I must say.
So yeah, you can head to my Insta to see a picture of that.
I've been enjoying my school holidays, so catching up on TV shows, bits and bobs. But I did finally get around to reorganising my office and hanging my display posters finally. So they're now up in the wall, looking down on me in all their glory.
Display posters any good?
I've got 3, and I think they're pretty good quality. They're
What ones did you get?
I've heard they're really good quality, and if Display would like to sponsor us, we'd be more than happy to procure your product.
Excellent.
Yes, no, they're brilliant. I've got 3, 2 One-Piece ones and 1 My Hero Academia.
Mm-hmm.
Quite vibrant, quite well made. Cool. Good. Easy to attach to the wall as well, so it's good.
If it's easy for you, it must be easy.
Other than that, I'm planning on finally getting some paint on my Age of Sigmar big pigs. So looking forward to having some giant Gorg runners running around the table.
I've been talking about getting paint onto my Dystopian Wars minis for fucking ages.
Yeah, no,
I still haven't started.
The goal is now I've set it to get it done before you get paint on those Dystopian ones. So that's the challenge.
To be fair, I have primed them.
I'm on school holiday, so I have no excuse.
Fuck.
And then just some general world news that's happened in the last couple of days since we recorded the last lot of episodes. Unfortunately, Dame Maggie Smith has passed away.
Yes, very sad.
For those of you who don't know, she's one of the teachers from Harry Potter and 5 million other films that she's partaken in, but most people this generation would know her as
Professor McGonagall.
Yeah.
that one from Harry Potter. So now we've got 3 teachers gone from the Harry Potter staff.
It'd be a lot more than that. From Hagrid, Snape, both Dumbledores.
Oh yeah, the other one died as well, didn't he? Yeah.
Both of them. McGonagall now, and there's someone else that is escaping my mind at the moment. But there is quite a few. Oh, Uncle Vernon's passed. The actor that played Uncle Vernon, he passed away.
There you go.
There's quite a few of the Harry Potter cast have passed
Daniel
away.
Radcliffe, I'd watch out, buddy. Soon it'll only be the ringers left. And then the other piece of the worldly news is Marvel and DC lost the trademark to the word superhero.
I saw that. I don't know what the implications of that is, but I saw it.
So essentially in America, my limited knowledge of American law, pretty much if you have a trademark on a word, such as Magic the Gathering had the trademark on tap. So when you turn a card and tap it, Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast were the only people allowed to use that term for that action. Other companies, you could call them exhausting and stuff like that.
It'd be similar to...
So essentially, if anyone used the term superhero to refer to a superpowered being, legally, Marvel or DC were allowed to be like, you can't use that. If you continue to, we'll give you have to give us money.
Was it actually around the spelling though? Because one thing I did notice is like it's because you've got the combined like one word superhero, but this was around their thing which was super hero, like 2
I'm
words.
not 100% sure on that, but pretty much what happens is if you don't uphold your trademark, so if someone uses it and then you're like, we'll let them use it, your trademark goes.
Yes.
Pretty much. That's what I think. If we're wrong, chuck it in the comments.
We are not lawyers.
No, not the slightest bit.
Because I think this is something similar to wrestling in situations where like wrestlers would have to trademark their names and things, or companies would own the trademark.
So
their names.
So basically, WWE owns a lot of the characters and stuff. So there's one that pretty much Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan owned his name for ages, but then someone else owned the name of Hulk Hogan, and they wanted a whole heap of money back. But then something happened, and eventually they're like, "Well, you can buy it off us for 150K," and he ended up buying back. He's pretty much one of the only wrestlers who owns his name.
Other than the wrestlers that wrestle as their name.
Yeah, pretty much. But most wrestlers, like the company owns that character.
Yeah, because I remember it was a while back now, but one of the characters' names or something, the trademark was expiring, and the wrestler was trying to jump in before WWE got back into it so they could try and take back ownership of their trademark.
Yeah.
In any case, I'd love to see a statement of some kind from Marvel or DC just to sort of hear why they didn't or what the implications were. Like, I would love to know what the implications are. If neither of them have come to the party, I don't think there's any implications.
I'm just guessing they're like,
who cares?
we did this in the fucking 70s or whatever, 80s, whatever it is. Who gives a fuck?
I wonder if it's a case too that where there's just that many situations where it's just too hard for it to be enforced. It's not worth their time to trademark it. Like
Potentially.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And also, it might have also gotten to the point where the law's like gone, you just can't trademark that anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah, who knows?
Or it might have expired and they've gone to trademark it again, and the courts are like, nope, it's got pretty much like Warhammer 40K and Ultramarine.
Yeah.
Sorry, Space Marine. Like, there's courts where you can't copyright that. No, kind of thing. But yeah. So let us get on to let's
some stuff.
talk about some news from the
internet.
From the movie world. Let's talk about some news from the movie world. Disney is reportedly eyeing Austin Butler and Dua Lipa for the roles of Hercules and Meg in their live-action adaptation of Hercules.
Cool.
So I think that Austin Butler, great actor, can sing, obviously, from Elvis, because he did a fantastic job in that.
That's who it is. Yep.
And Dua Lipa is obviously an extremely famous singer at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get copyright strikes, man. Don't do that.
Not off my singing. So I have a new theory. Venom, Morbius, Carnage, Kraven, and more head into the MCU soon because Null will destroy the Sony superhero universe and merge into the MCU.
I did see this one.
Thought it was pretty. I like the idea of it. We'll see where it all sort of fucking lands. The one that I did see on Null is who's potentially portraying.
Yes, it was a different actor to who we were talking about the other time.
Andy Serkis.
Yes.
So Null in Venom's 3 is old mate from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And reportedly Null in the MCU is going to be Andy Serkis.
Right, okay. I didn't realise they were doing it that way. I thought that was the rumour for Venom 3.
No, Venom 3 is definitely old mate.
Right, okay.
He's already been.
There's filmed. It's out. It's done.
Yeah.
Well, not out. It's coming out. What do you got, Brock?
I'm sure we've said this before, but Uncharted 2 is officially in development. I could have sworn we spoke about that.
I don't think we have.
No, I think we spoke about it in a rumour section a couple of weeks ago. Because I think I said it. You don't listen.
To you, fair.
I didn't mind the first movie. I've never played the game. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either.
No, again, it's along those lines of like the Ocean's 11 sort of movies. It's that mystery of trying to follow the breadcrumbs till you find the end goal sort of thing. So I don't mind them. They're pretty easy to watch.
Yeah, I personally think Tom Holland was the wrong casting choice.
Yeah, I think he unfortunately
he's hot property.
He's suffering from that. Like he's just in everything because
if you want to watch a good Uncharted, go on YouTube and watch the Nathan Fillion one. There's a short film on YouTube. Nathan Fillion plays the main dude, and the one that Mark Wahlberg played in the movie, that's done by the grey-haired dude from Avatar.
Oh yeah,
you know, the baddie guy in the first Avatar. Yeah, he played.
Yeah, I can see
Sully.
that.
I think Sully was his name.
I think so.
I don't know, something. Yeah. Speaking of Tom Holland, he has signed a new deal with Marvel, Sony/Marvel, for Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6, and 3 appearances in Avengers films.
Yep,
Saw
I
that.
did see 6 in total, which is awesome.
More of a, in case you missed it, the Juggernaut in Deadpool Wolverine, he was played by the Jack dude in Angus W. Reid in Free Guy.
Yeah, the guy that played Buff one.
Yeah.
Buff Free Guy.
Yeah. Zach Kreger is reportedly in talks to direct a Resident Evil film for Sony.
Just give up on it, guys.
That was my thought as well.
You, in all honesty, like as bad, I'm doing air quotes here, as the Mila Djokovic Resident Evil films were, they were great at the same time. They knew exactly what they were.
They are.
They went.
I was gonna
The
say,
whole
I'm pretty sure
franchise is cult classic.
I saw a rumor with her coming, like rumored to be coming back for it as well. So
that would be great because I mean, the last one was a little bit of a disappointment after that teaser at the end of the fifth one where they're standing on top of the White House and the zombies, and then they kind of just went, forget about that.
Yeah.
But it was still good. I enjoyed the whole shit out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, where are we? Hellboy, the Crooked Man, not getting a theatrical release. Going straight to streaming, baby.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
There you go. I heard that it got some bad initial reviews from some of the people who got the early viewings and whatnot.
Yeah, but
I don't listen to those.
Yeah,
because typically they're not
I can't trust reviewers, and in saying that, technically we're now reviewers.
I wouldn't trust us.
I like a fucking German show about fucking romance, so I wouldn't listen to me.
we've just got a wide range of tastes here.
We do, that's right.
That's good. One of us is bound to like it.
What do you got?
So in Sonic 3 coming out, apparently one of the characters coming into it is Rouge the Bat. And there was a casting rumor that it was going to be Sarah Paulson, but she has since shut that down.
Yeah. I mean, look at fucking Andrew Garfield. I'm not in Spider-Man 3. I'm not in Spider-Man 3. We all know you're in Spider-Man 3, buddy. There's a photo of you on set.
Yeah, exactly.
They all say they're not in these things, but they end up being in it. Yeah. And in all honesty, she's just a fucking voice.
Yeah, exactly. It's not hard to do so. But yeah, apparently she's not there. But if people want to make it happen, she's happy to do it. So very much sounds like it could happen.
Yeah, I'm very interested. If it does, it'll be just at the end of the film. I'm very interested about what characters they're going to bring in. What like additional characters?
I don't know much about Sonic, but I do know that Rouge is quite a fun character. Amy is the pink one. Yeah. So there are a few more to come in. So it wouldn't be surprised if see her making some sort of appearance throughout it. Possibly as the cameo at the end, teasing Sonic 4. Who knows?
There you go.
Potentially. This is probably my favourite one of the week. A Mr. Freeze series or movie set in Matt Reeves' The Batman universe in development.
I have heard this. And
I would fucking love to see a TV series about the history of Dr. Freeze or Fries and the way that he comes up through.
I would want them to
do
the Batman animated series origin because that's my personal favourite origin of Mr. Freeze with the wife and all that kind of
100%,
stuff.
yeah. Like in his origin, like around being a doctor, and then you've got, I think her name is Nora Freeze. And then how that all ties into the cryogenics and how he yada, 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 yada. I think that would be amazing.
Do you think with how successful Penguin's first 2 episodes are, that they're going to follow that path and do a lot more origin TV series for the bad guys and then bring them into the movies?
I don't think so. I think they only did this because Colin Farrell was
incredible,
so well received in Batman, the Batman.
I think I don't know how true this is or not, but I mean, I know that Gunn is building his DC, and Matt Reeves' universe sort of sits alongside it.
They call it Elseworld.
Yeah, Elseworld alongside of it. There was a little thing that I read a few weeks ago where they might bring it into Gunn's universe, like this way, that way, whatever.
Don't do it.
I personally wouldn't do it. I think it'd be great to have, as you said, like the Elseworlds and have these kind of things that are like little tidbits that can still occur alongside. I mean, we've got Joker Folie à Deux coming out in like 2-3 days or something, like this week, I think. I would like to see this. I would love to see it in Reeves's universe because it does have that dark, gritty tone. I think that would come across incredibly well. Make it happen. See where it goes.
All for it. Sadie Sink, the redheaded chick from Stranger Things, is rumoured to be in talks to play Spider-Woman in future projects. She would be the daughter of MJ and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. I think that'd be awesome.
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein has reportedly wrapped filming. It's starring Jacob Elordi,
So
Oscar
keen.
Isaac, Mia Goth, and Christopher Waltz. Coming soon to
Cannot
Netflix.
wait. I love Mia Goth, man. She is the future ultimate scream queen. Like, have you wouldn't have seen it. Why am I asking you?
Nah.
Have you seen the Triple X?
I actually haven't. No, because that's the Maxine or
Yeah. So you've got
because there's 3 of them. Yeah.
yeah. I think is the first one called X? I think the first one's just called X, and then the second one is like a prequel to a character in the first movie, and
So
then
you
the
got-
third movie is called Maxine with 3 X's.
X,
You said
is it
Triple X, so I went to Vin Diesel's Triple
no.
X one. That's what I went to.
X, Pearl, and Maxine.
Yeah, Pearl is the character she plays,
Yeah.
and like Pearl's like this old duck.
Yeah. So Pearl was
who does the
2022.
murdering. And then
as well, and
Maxine's
then
just
X.
coming. I haven't seen Maxine yet.
I haven't seen
But
any
X
of them,
and Pearl
actually.
are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Mia Goth is so good in them. Jenna Ortega's in X. Brittany Murphy? No, not Brittany Murphy. She's died. She died. The blonde one from Pitch Perfect that loses a voice and gets the deep
Oh
voice.
yeah.
She's in it as well. But
Hey,
no, great.
Mia Goth is earmarked for Blade if it ever happens.
There you go. What do we got? Brock?
For me, Scarlett Johansson, she's back in business with Marvel Cinematic
I
Universe.
did see this.
So
Yes,
she's listed as a
producing
producer.
Thunderbolts.
She's a producer on Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one, I
Thunderbolts asterisk.
asterisk. Yes, we'll get to that at a point. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave this until we get to that.
Okay. What do we got?
Spoilers. We're talking
5
about Thunderbolts.
5 actors turned down the role of Green Lantern due to the original Ryan Reynolds film and fearing it hurting their reputation.
Oh, I read this. I'm like, well, whatever. It's happening.
Yeah,
it's a TV series. They've redone everything. It will either be good or bad. Who fucking knows? Reynolds has done new shit, different shit within the hero universe, and it's been fantastic. It was a flop. People will run to see it. People will love it. Unless you do a poor job. If you do a poor job, you'll know and you'll run from it after
I
as
think
well.
what hurts it more is the fact that Ryan Reynolds openly bags as much as he does. That
He literally killed himself before doing it
yeah.
in Deadpool. So
Exactly. Well, there you go.
What do you got, mate?
So, by order of the Peaky Blinders, Tommy Shelby is back. So, Cillian Murphy and Stephen Knight are reunited on set as production officially starts on the upcoming Netflix film, which will be wrapping up the Peaky Blinders TV series on Netflix.
Yeah.
I am keen.
There you
This
go.
is
I didn't know that was even happening.
if you have not
Yeah,
seen the show,
I'm
definitely
pretty sure
watch
we
this.
spoke about this the other
Did we?
week. I think so.
I don't-
Or I seen it and took a screenshot and didn't talk
Yeah,
about
I'm going to say more likely that.
No,
I
it's-
didn't know
it's-
what happened.
because I will say that is highly likely.
It's a rumor that's been around for a while, so
Yeah, okay.
it's not something new. But the fact it's officially starting is very, very exciting.
I'm going to run with one of my screenshots that I forgot about.
All right.
Anywho, this is a bit of a left field one that I read. I have no idea if it's true or not, but
Most of these generally aren't.
I loved this, and it's only movie related because of the guy who it's about. So Iron Man actor Terrence Howard
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're about to say.
invented a new form of flight which operates off of hydrogen fuel cells, and no one is talking about it. It's called linchpin, and it can perform tangential flight, which is basically spins around its own center of mass. On the Joe Rogan podcast, Howard describes a concept he calls tangential flight, which he claims to have invented. There's a whole bunch of other stuff around it. I didn't look into this at all, but I read it and I'm like,
Did he not?
I want this to be
There's
true.
there's a few things that I've read about him where he's gone a bit Britney Spears.
Yeah?
Did
Yeah,
they not?
he's lost the plot apparently.
Did he
That's
not steal
awesome.
that idea from Futurama with the spaceship that moves the universe around itself? Rather
I
than the
don't know, but it's apparently he's lost the plot a little bit.
That's awesome.
Uh,
Well, it's not awesome, but I mean, it was interesting to read.
James Samuel has met with Marvel to direct Blade. The latest draft apparently has everyone happy. He directed The Harder They Fall, which was like a Wild West movie on Netflix, I believe, and had a lot of it was like a lot of mainly black cast. Had Idris Elba. He plays the leader of the gang kind of thing. It was a really good film. I remember really enjoying it. I think it was on Netflix, but I guess he knows what he's doing. So we'll see.
Blade coming to a cinema near you in 2046.
Yep.
obviously the
Starring Ali's son. He's been fucking scrapped. We'll bring his son into it.
the Hollywood's apparently been listening to Sequelize It because
They have?
they have because there's a rumor coming out that links in with my decathlon basketball scenario. Ben Stiller is producing and starring in a new pickleball comedy. The Dink will focus on washed-up tennis professional played by Jake Johnson, attempting to save his club and win his father's respect by doing one thing he swore he'd never do, play pickleball. The cast includes Mary Steenburgen and Ed Harris, while Stiller and former tennis champ Andy Roddick will have key supporting roles.
So is it an
Stiller's-
expansion on dodgeball?
No, it's not. It's not Dwight Goodman. It's just
okay.
just him playing it. But yeah, so Stiller's production company Red Owl Films and Rivulet Films will team up on the production per Hollywood Reporter.
I'd watch it.
So yeah, we've now got basketball, dodgeball, pickleball, all in the decathlon. So it's
marvelous. We're building.
the ensemble of
We're
movies is coming.
getting closer.
Yeah.
Getting closer.
Bane and Deathstroke crossover movie in the works at DC Studios.
Bring Joe back and I'm happy.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
Yep. He for the limited screen time we got of him in the end of was it the end of Justice League and then the end of Justice League Snyder Cut?
I can't remember.
No, it was the end of Batman v Superman.
BVS, wasn't it?
Yeah, you first saw him, and then he was in the Snyder Cut at the end in the future scene.
Yep.
My last one for the movies: Evan Peters to reprise his Quicksilver in Secret Wars.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
See,
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I would like to see both Quicksilvers on screen at the same time. Aaron, what's his name?
Taylor Johnson?
Taylor Johnson. Yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Is his name Aaron?
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
Yeah, him. So that's my last one for the movies.
Filming has officially wrapped on Jurassic World Rebirth, confirmed by producer Frank Marshall.
Yep.
Filming began back in June and is set mainly in Thailand, wrapped after 106 days of shooting. The plot centers on a daring mission led by covert operations expert Zora Bennett, played by Scarlett Johansson, to secure genetic material from the world's 3 most massive dinosaurs.
So this is my last one. Now, I had my favourite rumour, but this is probably my favourite thing of the week that I've stumbled across. Batman is the first superhero to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I did see this.
Well earned.
Yes. Wait.
I was very happy when I read that.
I have one quick quote to get through.
Go for it.
So Hugh Jackman's reaction to Deadpool and Wolverine releasing on digital and physical in October. At least now I can fast forward through all his yapping, referring to Ryan Reynolds.
I love them. They're phenomenal. So that's all the movie news we have. We're not talking about any other movies today, so let's jump into a couple of trailers, eh? So the first one we've got, where are we? There it is.
Ballerina?
Is a Ballerina, or John Wick World Ballerina.
I am looking forward to this.
I cannot wait.
It's going to be fantastic. The trailer was amazing. The action scenes in there already, and getting...
Just wait, you're jumping ahead. We have to cut to Brock for a moment. Brock, explain every single aspect of this film.
Sorry, Brock.
So this week I forgot to write shit. No, I'm just kidding. So as AJ touched on, the movie is called From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. I don't know why they just didn't call it
Ballerina. Yeah, From the World just sounds wanky.
Or Ballerina Wick.
Yeah. Miss Wick. And this is it's set between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4 from a setting perspective. Coming out on June 6, 2025 for its theatrical release. Directed by Len Wiseman. Now, this chap, he directed Underworld 1 and 2 and was also a producer on the rest of them.
He was also married to Kate Beckinsale.
There you go. He appears to have prominently been in TV for the last several years. Things on Hawaii Five-0, Sleepy Hollow, Lucifer, FPB, Swamp Thing, etc. From a starring perspective, this is the final on-screen appearance for the late Lance Reddick.
Yes, the concierge.
Yes. We also have Ana de Armas as the lead, Angelica Houston, Norman Reedus, and some other cameos from the Wick franchise like Keanu and Ian McShane.
Yeah, that's very disappointing. They showed his cameo in the trailer.
They had to tease its connection.
Yeah, I think you could have left that with concierge and
I reckon it should have just they should have just shown like the hand or like
They-
a cut hand
no,
or like the hair.
They
from
could have left
behind,
it
something
with
like
her
that.
saying, "Oh, you're the Baba Yaga,"
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
could have
I
stopped
think
it
that'd
there.
been
Like they
fine.
didn't need to show him. Like,
Yep.
sorry, I didn't know if
yeah.
there was more. I didn't want to
I
continue. to cut you off.
cannot fucking wait for this movie, man.
It looks good.
I
looks
love
fucking great.
I love Ana de Armas.
She's awesome.
I reckon she's going to be like the next big action star.
You reckon?
Because she is like her scene in James Bond fucking stole the movie for me. She was so good in James Bond. I loved it. She's looks awesome. Like the fight scene that they show in this looks phenomenal. She was great in that Ghosted movie, which a lot of people didn't like, but I personally
I
did.
actually haven't seen that. Because that's the one with Chris.
Yeah, he plays
yeah.
like the guy. He believes she's ghosted him, but she's like a secret spy kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and he follows her
Yeah.
around or something.
No, it looks awesome. I can't wait. I reckon it's probably the scene with Wick in it will be kind of like he's on his way to Paris.
Yes.
I reckon it will be. So it's leading into
Yep.
part 3 kind of thing. Because it also shows...
Part 4.
well, no, part... Oh,
It's
part 3 is where he dies,
it's
isn't
in
it?
between part 3 and part 4 for John Wick.
Oh, part 4 is the one where he dies, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always forget. I always think that's part 3. But essentially, because you see him in Russia at the ballet school doing that thing, which happened in the last movie.
Isn't that in? That's not in Russia though. That's just in a Russian dance school in America, isn't it?
Oh,
No, it was
there's
overseas,
links.
yeah.
There's links to Russia because
Or it might have
Yeah.
been. It might have been in Paris.
Yeah.
It was in one of those. It was in a different country.
Rue Ruska or the Ruska Rue
Yeah.
or something like that.
So they're like the Russian Wick.
Yeah, see,
family.
like I'm looking forward to expanding on the John Wick universe. I was kind of disappointed when he actually died because I would have liked to have seen him somehow overthrow the table and have
Oh fuck, you'll be back.
have all
somehow.
that sort of I have no doubt. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a really interesting universe and the movies are great. They're always enjoyable and it's great.
So one thing for me, or a couple of things actually. I mean, the ice skate kill that they had in that,
Yeah.
looked sick. The grenade behind the blast door looked fucking awesome. Now, I fucking love this next one, but I hated that they put it in there. Is the flamethrower burst the fire
You know
hydrant?
that's at the end too. You know that's at the end of the movie.
That's massive, and to have that in there, you're like, I think we just seen like the peak like element of the action scene. Like and I just feel like they've fallen trapped to that.
But in
typical
saying that,
shown us
because
too much.
John Wick is action scene after action scene, there's every chance that there is
100%.
bigger and better than that in there. So
It's going to be awesome. It's bigger and bigger. I think bigger, yes, better for how that came onto the screen. It's going to be hard to get better. That was incredible.
And also, speaking of John Wick, it's coming back out of the movies. The original one, they're re-releasing it. 10 year re-release at the movies.
Cool. One other thing that I quite loved about this, like, and to point out, like, Ana de Armas being like a massive action star and whatnot through the thing, like it had that similar feel with John Wick. How John Wick holds his pistol in a particular way.
gonna say that,
and the way that she you can see it's deliberate. The way that she sort of puts her shoulders in a particular way, holds the gun out particular angle. You just like that is so deliberate. And then she kind of goes down, comes back up, exact same position. I'm like,
It's
perfect.
because
they've both been
It
trained
rates
from the
well.
Russians.
Oh,
the way the movie was made in the first place was they wanted to make it as realistic as someone with that skill set would kill someone. They wouldn't be like bang, 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 and hope they hit something. They're trained that well that they're going for the headshot every fucking time.
Yeah.
And like he trained so much with firearms for those movies, so that every single part of the way he would hold a weapon, like walking past someone else, like down, up, and like Halle Berry with the dogs.
Yep.
She trained for like 8 months or something with those dogs, so they were her dogs essentially, and so they put the effort in.
And I mean, it's another revenge film. They mention it through the thing, so I mean that's just the way to start it out and sort of build upon there. My comment there was like sort of how many ballerinas are they going to do? Like how much more they expand this franchise already?
Well, weren't
they have already announced that they're doing a second one, but it'll be obviously dependent on how this one lands.
Weren't
so
they going to expand it with old mate in John Wick 4 that had the dog?
potentially, but I mean this is another ballerina movie.
Well, this is the second spin-off because they had the Continental on Prime.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Is that good?
It wasn't
It's
bad.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
wasn't bad.
it was
It wasn't John Wick.
No.
This looks
John Wick.
John Wick, but with a female protagonist instead of a male protagonist,
and
essentially.
Continental was a three-parter on Prime.
Prime, yeah.
Three-parter on Prime. They went for an hour to an hour and a half each. Like, they're worth it.
It was the history of the Continental.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't mind. I said, like, I'd be interested to expand on that John Wick universe. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay, next up we have Teacup.
Yep. Teacup. What do you want to talk about Teacup about? Hey, Zach?
Well, I'll just
Teacup?
We were waiting for your diatribe of history.
Oh, yeah. October 10th. It's coming out on Peacock. Inspired by the novel Stinger by Robert R. McMahon. Showrunner is Ian McCulloch. He was a producer for Yellowstone and Chicago Fire. From a starring perspective, we've got Yvonne Strahovski, a recognisable Australian face from The Tomorrow War, The Predator, I Frankenstein, and she's also voiced Batwoman a couple of times. Ooh.
She really put on that great voice.
Definitely. Scott Speedman, who you will recognise as Michael Corvin from the Underworld movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Along with several other actors. It looks good. I liked that the trailer didn't give too much away.
That's what I liked.
Enjoyed the start where it was all lovey-dovey and you just know something is going to come soon.
Yeah.
It's going to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And it did.
And what I loved about the trailer, for me at least, I don't know if they're going to go down that the route of it being like mystical or like the death and possession and spirits and stuff, or if it's going to be a real-life protagonist fucking scaring the shit out of people.
Yeah.
What's it? You see old mate with the gas mask, but you don't know if he's actually like helping them or against them. Like it's open still for you to interpret at this stage. So
exactly.
Which I have a feeling that they will probably go down that route of like, oh, he's helped us, but no, he's not helping us. And they'll try and trick you with that whole premise. I reckon.
And that'll get tricked like the whole way through.
I'm assuming there, like obviously there is either someone is turned or there, as you said, something supernatural in terms of that one scene right then you do see a part of like a distended arm or claw or something that pulls him down into the basement. So.
That was a sick scene.
Yeah, that was awesome. But even something like that, like coming, like that can be real world. If someone comes up and just sort of grabs them in some way,
no,
shape,
you
or
do
form,
actually see part of the thing that grabs him. So it's saying like it does look to be either something supernatural or someone is infected and transforms into something, or possessed sort of thing.
And one of my thoughts, like around some, because I didn't pick up on that, so I'm definitely going to go back and have another look. But what I thought is some of the intrigue where it does sort of go down that spiritual possession type route and whatever, is if it's more in the dream state. Well, so they heavily rely on the dream state.
A bit more Nightmare on Elm Street style.
Yeah, they heavily rely on that dream state to sort of drive home the mysterious and mystical elements to it, whereas it's still a real, or not real, but an actual person who's the antagonist.
So I'm starting to put something together because you see in one point in the trailer that they all have to keep an eye on each other and separate because you can't trust anyone. So possibly it is something that comes along and does possess one of them, and it's potentially trying to figure out who it is. And did old mate on the outside is he the one that led him to this place, and that's why he's trapped him inside there, or things like that. So
I would love to see it hammer home the possession spiritual element, and then have a big fucking Scooby Gang resolution at the end where it's an actual
it was Dr. Tom the whole time.
I would love for it to go down that route, just because I think that would be fun. But I'm open to anything. It looks good.
Because I thought it was going to be a movie at first, but no, it is a TV series. So,
yep.
I wonder how long it will go for. I'm assuming probably that typical 8, but
these days that's pretty average. Yeah. All right. So that's Teacup. On to...
Can we do Getaway next? Because I feel like
we can.
Yeah.
We can do Getaway next.
Fucking let me skip through my
Only because I feel like the next one's going to be quite a chat. So
yeah.
Okay. Getaway.
What do we got, mate?
December 6th for a theatrical release. Directed Stefan Haas. I'd call this his major directorial debut. Whilst he has done some other movies, they've kind of got like almost like a little bit of cult following success, like New Kids Nitro, New Kids Turbo. Written and produced by Nick Frost, so that will bring some excellent comedic flair with that action/horror/slasher undertones, like we get from some of the other things, in particular the Cornetto trilogy. For those who don't know what that is, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz World's End, starring Nick Frost, Aileen Bay, Sebastian Croft, and Maisie Ayres. This, it looks interesting. It looks like it is going to be a very hard one to sort of mix the comedy and the action / horror element. I mean, this is either going to hit so fucking well or so
literally the only line I wrote down for this is could be hilarious, could be shit. Like, I think it's either going to be one or the other.
So there's another movie. It made me think of another movie that Nick Frost was in. I can't remember the name of it, but there's like a drilling. There's a site where they're like fragging.
Okay.
And they accidentally unleash these demon dogs.
Fracking.
Oh, fracking, sorry. Yeah. They accidentally release these like demon dogs or something from the hole. Right. And Simon Frost is like stop the fracking, homeless guy.
Yeah.
And Simon Pegg's in it as well. He's a teacher.
Yeah.
And it was an entertaining movie, and this kind of really made me think of that. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it made me think of that movie.
Yeah, so the premise of the movie is basically Nick Frost and his family go on a summer vacation to a remote island in Sweden, I believe it is.
Seemed to be Sweden. It was called Svalta, I think it was.
Yeah, and obviously take residence in this Airbnb, which seems to be haunted or, have some horrible things taking place there.
Yeah. And that's the premise of it. Like the townsfolk hate this family because they don't like outsiders, and the family's just like, fuck you, and they more or less just fight against them. And that's where I think it could be really cool. This family on holiday, and they're like, you know what? We are going to enjoy this holiday. We don't give a fuck who comes knocking on our door. If you do come knocking on our door with a fucking knife, I'm going to hit you in the head with a fucking hammer. And in saying that, I think that will literally happen on the screen.
Yeah. Well, you probably nailed one of the opening, the start of the horror.
And that's it. And it's in the trailer. Like, it gave you sort of the plot of the story, but didn't. I'm hoping it's one of those movies, trailers where they do the opposite, where they don't give you any of the funny parts. So then all the funny parts in the show, in the movie, are natural for when you see them for the first time. So
I didn't see anything that was truly like funny in the trailer. No. But you could see things that were erring on that funny side, where maybe something leading up to what had happened or builds
just after,
that comedy, or after. Like sitting in the dead grandma's chair. Like, that has potential to be quite funny, but what happens before, what happens after, as to how you get that response. I'm not going to be rushing to the cinema for it. No. I'll wait till it's streaming, and then I'll give it a good watch.
A good thmack.
Or... what?
That's right. It's this new thing. I'm going to watch down and give this a good smack.
Right. Okay. You can. Sure. I'll wait till it's on the streaming services, or I will find it on a website.
To give it what?
A watch.
A good smack.
You do you.
All right. Let's talk about the final trailer for today. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the big one. We've been waiting for it.
Thunderbolts Asterix.
Dun, dun, dun.
Question.
Sure, question.
What's the asterisk for?
Okay, so...
We don't know.
No, okay, that's why I ask.
Okay, now the asterisk. Now, fuck it, I'll start with this little bit. And I went down a rabbit hole.
Of course you did.
There are things that I seen and heard that I cannot unsee or unhear, and I'm not going to say them, except for this one. The asterisk it's actually been added, so it wasn't there previously. It's been added in, and there's a couple of thoughts.
It's been there since Comic-Con.
Yeah. So, but apparently prior to that, all of the marketing and whatnot didn't have it there. So, anywho, with the adding of the asterisk, there's an element where they think it's going to be similar to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where at the end it changed from Falcon and the Winter Soldier to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So, element of the title's actually going to change, and they think that'll happen, I don't know, either towards the end or the announcement of Sentry or something like that. And the thought is perhaps Dark Avengers or Avengers Dark Reign, and also hinting where the poster tagline kind of plays into this with careful who you assemble.
Yeah. So generally, when you got one of those in marketing, generally that refers to a disclaimer. So normally, like if you're advertising a price point, you put one of them after it, and then in the disclaimer you've got one, and then that will follow price as per 2024, blah 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 blah. So most things I've seen, people think it has to do with the fact of it's just insert tagline here, and because apparently they've registered, because before a movie comes out you have to register it with the blah 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 people in America, and apparently they've registered multiple different titles.
Oh, there you go.
So they think that's that, like them trying to be sneaky and sort of hide what the title's going to be, because it's probably, I'm guessing, something else will happen in the MCU before this movie comes out. But tagline would probably ruin something that's going to happen. Sure. I reckon that's what it is.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So yeah. All right, so the trailer.
Okay. Before we get to the trailer.
Yes.
Coming out on May 2025, so a little way to go. Directed by Jake Schreier. Paper Towns, Robot and Frank. Several episodes of different TV shows and a whole heap of music videos. So, not a heap. But anywho, starring Florence Pugh as Yelena, David Harbour as Red Guardian, Sebastian Stan as Bucky or the Winter Soldier, Wyatt Russell as our US agent, Olga Kurylenko as Taskmaster, Hannah Jean Kamen as Ghost, and Lewis Pullman as, kind of spoiler, but Bob.
And Harrison Ford.
Sentry. And yeah, we're going to get Harrison Ford as well. David Harbour, he looks fucking great, and I loved him in Black Widow.
I just love the start when he's in the room, and like Florence Pugh knocks on the door. He's like, he cleans up the whole apartment.
Before that, your subordinates will be reported to DoorDash HQ. Just like fucking yes.
He was by far the best part of Black Widow.
It's I honestly think that with the way that he does the acting of this, the accent and everything, it's teetering on being like, it's in between good and bad, and it's so close to that line that it works.
It's closer to bad than it is good, and I think that's what makes it good. The fact it is pretty bad done, and then it's also him, like that, the way he like you're saying, acts like that stupidness, and like just it makes it fun.
It does, it really does, and I mean, as you said, he was awesome in Black Widow. I think he's going to be great in this as well.
Yes.
It is super fun.
So I have a question.
Yeah,
second one. Is this Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad?
Pretty much.
Sweet.
Yep. So essentially, Elaine is essentially Amanda Waller in Marvel, and she pretty much puts together the bad Avengers, the Dark Avengers. See, Thunderbolts was in the comics put together by Thunderbolt Ross, who was Harrison Ford. But I don't think they're going to go that route in this. They're going...
Certainly seems more like her.
Yeah, because Thunderbolt Ross, he's essentially becoming president in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's more seems like she's putting it together, unless he's kind of
become president, isn't he?
I think he might already be president.
He's already president, I think.
Because
there was
he does it, but he like, I need you to do this. So
his idea, but someone else runs it. Yeah.
Because Val is head of the CIA.
Yes. Yeah. So essentially, it's Suicide Squad, but it's kind of like the failed heroes kind of thing, and like because Elaine, what's her name in this? Val is at the end of Black Widow, where she like gets Florence Pugh's character, and she's like, assemble some people for me, kind of thing.
Yep. She was also in a couple of others that I remember writing down somewhere, and I don't have them in.
I love the White Widow, as though I hope they start calling her the White Widow.
Yeah.
I just love the scene in Black Widow where she's like, the landing you do is stupid. And she does it. She goes, oh, I felt so wrong.
Yeah, so Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she was in at the end where she goes and talks to US agent.
Yep.
She was in Black Widow
and
Black Panther as well.
Yeah, Black Panther too. Yeah.
Yep.
No, the trailer looks fantastic. The car scene there, all the personalities there seem quite funny.
Just fucking rips it.
What do you mean it's not bulletproof? It's bulletproof.
Bulletproof-ish.
And I like when they all kind of obviously the scene where they all kind of meet where they've been organised into the same room and they start belting each other up.
So part of the rabbit hole that I went down sort of spoke about that a little bit more and slowed it down. Really cool, and that is going to be an awesome fucking scene because when you're watching it, you actually see one of the continuous shots through it where I think it starts with Yelena. She throws the knife at Ghost. Ghost does her vanishing thing, but then she catches the knife on the backside of her head after it's gone through her head. When she catches it, one swift motion, throws it at Taskmaster. Taskmaster leans back, grabs it, and without looking, throws it straight over towards US Agent. US Agent then catches it in one swift motion and comes down back on Yelena to get her. So that just one scene alone, to see that, I'm just like, fuck yes, that's awesome.
Can I just go through the characters? So we've got White Widow.
Well,
so they don't actually call her. In the comics, she's White Widow.
Yeah. So what?
Sure.
Just quickly on that one as well before you go down that pathway. But that was one of the things I was going to talk about with Scarlett Johansson coming through as a producer. So the thought process there is that whenever there's Black Widow involved, she then because she's so ingrained to that character, she's got like a little tidbit callback, so to speak, where she can come through and talk through the Black Widow within the show. So there's an element where they believe that Yelena will either be Black Widow or lean into that White Widow factor.
I hope they make a White Widow.
I think it'd be better if it's White Widow.
Yeah. So essentially, so you got White Widow, you've got Taskmaster, who is also a widow, but she kind of got burnt up and puts on the Taskmaster outfit and has been programmed to, she can kind of, essentially, in the comics at least, she can see someone's movements and mimic them. Then you got Ghost, who was from Ant-Man
and
2.
Wasp. Yep.
And I believe she was a brand new character. I don't think she's a comic book character from memory. I think she was a new character, but she essentially can teleport.
It was phasing, wasn't it?
Phasing because she got entangled with the quantum realm.
Then you've got US Soldier, who was the guy he replaced Cap.
US Agent,
sorry. Yeah, he replaced Captain America. He got the super serum, replaced him, but he was angry and killed the dude. And
very cranky, cut somebody's head off.
Bucky is obviously Winter Soldier.
And he's a congressman in this.
Yes. Then you've got
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, who was essentially the Russian Captain America.
Yep.
He also got a serum as well, but it was like not the American version. It was like the Russian knockoff version. And Harrison Ford becomes Red Hulk.
Yeah, I was only asking because...
and the baddie is the Mastermind dude. Because he's in the movie. I can't remember what his comic book name is, but essentially he is from Hulk. He's Hulk's one of Hulk's major villains. Essentially, the serum, some of Hulk's blood drips on his head.
The leader,
that's it, and makes his brain giant, essentially.
The only reason I ask is just because it said, like, I'm not as well versed in the comics as a lot, and so some of these characters...
Ghost was a comic book character.
She was?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Just it's being introduced to some of these characters for the first time in a larger scale is interesting to know, and just to see what we can find out about them.
There's just to throw some spoilers away because why the fuck not give away some anyways. One that I actually found quite interesting is the so we get Avenger Tower.
Yep.
We got Avenger Tower back. So at first I was kind of like, oh, maybe Valentina is Valentina's tower because she's a Contessa, which is a count but girl version. So she's a Contessa, loaded, et cetera, but then obviously she's head of CIA. So my thought is that it's the CIA, not HQ, but a CIA building per se. Now, one of the interesting tidbits around Sentry and his backstory within the comics and whatnot is that his base, so to speak, is
essentially Superman
at that location. But it's like what was the term used? It's hidden. So you can't actually see it because it's like a mythical space that is landed on top of the tower. So the Sentry can access it because of him and being inhabited by the Void, which is like the negative part of Sentry, et cetera, et cetera. And then his home is more or less, or his home base is more or less that tower, just mythical realm. Yep. So the idea of that is that they think that space where they all meet at the bottom is actually the basement of the old Stark or Avenger Tower. and then that's where they meet Bob or Sentry, and the idea behind Sentry is that he's more or less another failed superhuman experiment.
Yep.
And that's why in a couple of the other callbacks with Yelena, she's got a vial in her hand that they think they're chasing for one reason or another to sort of get an understanding about it.
Who was old mate in the hospital scrubs in the escape before the rockets go off scene in the trailer? Because everyone's like, who brought you here? And he's like,
oh, that's Bob or Sentry.
Yeah.
right, okay, yeah.
So, they think he's been more or less held at the bottom of this tower. That's why I think CIA is sort of holding him there and keeping him there. And, yeah, like he's more or less an occurrence of... So they lost Steve Rogers back in the war, and then with him coming through, he was more or less the next person to be. However, when they juiced him up, he became a little bit too much.
Yeah, he's pretty much Superman minus Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And
More
his
personality.
And his,
Everyone wanted Mark Hamill, not Mark Hamill, Henry Cavill to play him.
Yeah.
And he also has, as I touched on, the void and how that plays into it, or if it does, which is more or less like a negative factor that lives within him.
And he's been a major part in a lot of comic book, like major like crossover arcs and stuff like that. All right, well that is all the trailers that we have for today. So let's get on to some fucking TV shows.
Let's do it.
You can start with it over here, mate.
I've got a rumour to start with then. So, more information on the Harry Potter TV series. So, the logo has been released, and it's been confirmed that there will be 7 seasons with 10 episodes per each.
Just like there were five fucking of those movies with the dude with the animals. And they
Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, and they made 3, and one of them wasn't even about him.
Yeah. It's the fact that there are 10 episodes makes sense for some of the later books, but the early books, I don't think you need 10 episodes. I think there's going to be a lot of drawn out things there, but we'll wait and see. But there has been some casting. So it's rumoured to be Toby Wolfe, Joshua Pickering, and Bronte Carmichael as Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Leslie Manville has already signed on to play Professor McGonagall. Peter Capaldi as Albus Dumbledore. Kristen Narn as Ruby's Hagrid. Agnes Imrie as Professor Quirrell, Edward Blumell as Snape, and Lucy David as Aunt Petunia. Jamie Campbell Bower is said to be returning to the franchise as the Dark Lord Voldemort. He played Gellert Grindelwald in the one scene he's in part 1 of Deathly Hallows.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Peter Capaldi, fuck yes. I love me some Doctor Who. And he's just such a good an actor.
And then season 1 is sent to arrive in fall 2026.
Okay.
I'll believe that when it happens, but sure.
Cool. This one is kind of TV, kind of movie, but it's more so movie, so whoops. Alan Tudyk will reportedly star in James Gunn's Superman in an unknown role. Now, the reason I had this in TV was because Alan Tudyk, he actually played Mr. Nobody in Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I thought that was an interesting little piece.
Do you know
and
who Alan Tudyk
wonder...
Is he Steve the Pirate? Yes, I've got that. I was like, he's Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I wonder if there'll be a Mr. Nobody in that world.
Most people who listen to this podcast would know him as the pilot of the Serenity.
Yep.
Yeah, Firefly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Just given different context.
And he was also in Dollhouse. He was Alpha in
He was
Dollhouse.
also in the TV show where he's an alien that's forgotten his memory.
Resident
Yeah.
Alien.
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck, I did another one that's actually a movie. Whoops.
Hayden Panettiere is reprising her role as Kirby in the new Scream series, following her as an FBI agent. So she's from
Scream 6? Sorry, this is Scream 6.
I think she was in not the last Scream, the Scream before that.
Yeah.
And she is now going to be in the new series that's coming out as the same character, but as an FBI agent.
Yep.
Screams all around.
Well, there was a Scream series, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I did 2 seasons.
Yeah,
Didn't
it was good. I thoroughly liked it.
You had one fucking job is what a lot of the Overwatch gamers are screaming at Netflix, because the Overwatch series that they had in development has been cancelled. Everyone's now hoping that Amazon Prime picks it up. Overwatch being Blizzard's first-person shooter game.
Want it so that they can complain about it? Or?
Basically.
Yeah, cool.
Yep,
Complain that
I
it's
mean-
cancelled, get renewed, happy, watch. Complain.
honestly, man, gamer nerds.
I mean, the
are
game's pretty
most
shit, so the TV show can't be as
toxic
bad. So.
nerds when it comes to complaining.
I'm not that bad. James Gunn has announced that he's working on Dynamic Duo, the story of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. The film will feature a mix of animation, puppetry, and CGI.
Okay.
I was meant to put it in TV.
Doesn't mention like what period in Todd's life we're going with?
No, that's as much as it got.
Well, this is Dick. So maybe Dick Grayson. Because Dick Grayson Nightwing when Todd died?
Yes.
He was, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, because he moved into Nightwing. Batman needed a new subordinate, so got Jason Todd.
Yeah. So
Because
do you know what happened to Jason Todd?
Well, he does now.
I know some of it, but didn't Jason Todd also... Isn't there storylines where he progressed out of Robin into other characters
So
himself?
Jason Todd, when he was Robin, essentially the Joker got him in a house and beat him to death with a crowbar and then blew the house up.
That all happened like in the Middle East or something like that from memory.
And
it's a bit of a wild
And then
story.
he was dead for a long time. And then he was resurrected in the Lazarus pit, which essentially brings people back to life. It's the, oh, fuck, we've killed someone we need now. Let's bring them back to life in this magical pit. He came back as Red Hood, who was kind of a baddie for a while, and you didn't know who it was, and everyone was like, it's fucking Jason Todd. And now he is he still Red Hood? But he's like good Red Hood now?
Yeah.
Because he still wears the red mask, but he's got the bat symbol on his chest and shit.
Yeah, still Red Hood.
Yeah.
I think there was a time where he came back and wasn't. He when he came back, he was playing the Hood, which is back to that.
And now
Joker,
he's Red Hood,
and plays like into that Joker callback.
Yeah.
But then in the games as well, it was really awesome because he played Arkham Knight, and that was sick.
On to me. Vincent D'Onofrio has seemingly confirmed that Daredevil series, Born Again, will be adapting the Devil's Reign comic series.
Saw this rumor.
So Devil's Reign is a lot. A lot. Like there's a lot of it obviously they won't be adapting because it has all the Avengers in it. And like there's Mr. Purple, who, if they bring him back, please bring back David Tennant, because that was David Tennant and Jessica Jones, the one who...
Yep.
And essentially like the Kingpin is the mayor, and they cut off Mr. Purple's fingers to use his fingers to hypnotize people, to use as soldiers, and Doc Ock is there, and then Doc Ock gets multi-dimensional versions of Dr. Octopus, but like the Hulk Dr. Octopus, and like all these different other Dr. Octopuses. And then Tony Stark was going to run for mayor against Fisk, but then they're like, no, Luke Cage is the better option. So Luke Cage is running for mayor against Fisk, but then Tony Stark turns out to be the chameleon who's a shapeshifter, and like there is just so much that happens.
Do you think they might bring the Defenders back for this, and maybe
well,
recast
all
some
the
of them?
Defenders are in this story because Daredevil is pretty much like the boss of the Defenders.
It might lead back into something like that because I know that we've spoken about talks with Jessica Jones.
Yeah, because she's rumored to come back.
I don't know if Luke Cage, I don't know if the actor there had been spoken to or not. I know there was talks about the chap for Iron Fist. I mean, see what happens.
Yeah,
I think it'd be good to see Netflix do.
But we know we've got Bullseye coming back.
Yes.
We know we've obviously got Kingpin,
Yep.
Daredevil. Has Elektra been confirmed?
I'm honestly not sure.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything
Because
about
that's
that
also Elektra comes into it as well. in Devil's Reign. So
Well, it'd be interesting to bring her back into it as well. I can't
'cause
remember.
she's
I can't even
Daredevil
remember.
at the moment, I think, isn't
I
she?
can't even remember.
Because
what
Daredevil's a chick now in the comics.
yeah,
It's not Matt Murdock. Oh, then at one point in Devil's Reign, Kingpin thinks he kills Daredevil, but kills his twin brother, which I didn't even know Daredevil had a twin brother until I read this book. And
Jesus, they threw that in there, didn't
yeah,
It's just because you can.
Yep.
Something for you to watch out as you finish watching episode 1 of The Penguin here. For the nude torture scene in episode 1 of The Penguin, Colin Farrell wore an anatomically correct prosthetic penis. And now you know that.
Cool. Yep, there you go. That happened, sure.
Thanks for that. A RoboCop TV series is in the works at Prime.
That was mine.
Yeah, I had that one as well.
James Wan is to executive
Yeah, and continue on it. Reports say that it will be more in line with the original film, following its satirical take on society.
Nice.
Because if a lot of people don't realise, the original RoboCop was a piss take on police force and all that kind of stuff. X-Men 97 will premiere in 2026 with 9 episodes and will be much, much darker in tone than the first season, which is saying something.
I mean,
I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it.
I know that I won't be able to fucking handle it because that fucking rocked me, that show.
Yep.
Fuck. Like when I first read that and they said that it was going to be darker, I'm like, how? You fucking wrecked me with that show. How can you make it darker? What, are they just going to take some of the color off the screen? Like, just do that. That's
black
it.
and white.
It's just physically darker.
Oh, God.
An anime for Hell's Paradise season 2 is coming out in 2025. If you have not watched Hell's Paradise, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's on Netflix. It's fucking amazing.
Cool. I'll put her on the list. The ever-growing list. Glenn Close will reprise her role as Nova Prime for the upcoming Nova series.
I did see that one as well, yeah. The Star Wars game character, played by the guy from Shameless, and he played Joker in Gotham.
I'd love to see him as a lead in the Jedi Order. That'd be sick.
He's supposedly going to make a live-action debut in an upcoming Disney Plus property.
Thank you. As long as he's not singing.
The Chucky TV series has been cancelled by Sci-Fi and USA after 3 seasons.
That was a good series. I enjoyed that one.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, it's stupid. It's fun. It's great. What do you got? Anything else?
I don't think I do.
So I've got 2 more. Legacy of Khan, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 is being remastered and is coming back out. I don't know if you ever played them games. They're like vampire games. They're great on the PlayStation old games.
Something that I put down purely for you, AJ, in case you didn't know about this. Modern Family, Hayley's arc in season 10 with getting pregnant and married to Dylan was originally envisioned to occur with Andy instead of Dylan. It did not happen because Adam Devine, who played Andy, had other major commitments in movies and had to leave the show.
There you go.
Makes sense. In a completely unrelated thing to TV, a new Batman game is reportedly in the works at Rocksteady. Fuck yes.
All right, my last one. A Luffy statue has been constructed in Kumamoto City, which is where the creator was born.
Nice.
In just 3 months, the city's revenue has increased by $20 million.
Fuck.
One piece, one piece,
in
one
3
piece.
months,
Jesus
the city's revenue has increased by 20 due to a statue. That's how much tourism it has brought.
Piece.
This
one
show
piece, one
needs a
piece.
statue. We need a statue for the show.
I don't think it'll draw much attention.
If anything, it'll go the other way and lose money.
It's the Frantic Nerdcast catch. This just in.
Just put it out the front of the shed.
That's right. The Newcastle-based statue for Frantic Nerdcast has decreased the value of Newcastle by $32.1 million. Newcastle is now broke.
I've got 2 left. Agatha All Along has a quick segment in the show where you see the Welcome to Westview sign. The population has dropped 42% since WandaVision.
Oh, cool. There you go.
Nice little tidbit. The X-Files Season 12. In the wake of revelations and new beginnings, the X-Files Season 12 thrusts Mulder and Scully into the shadows of a conspiracy that threatens not just their future, but humanity's. With a child on the way and the fabric of reality bending around them, can they unearth the truth behind or buried in lies, or will the secrets they uncover change everything they've fought for? Dive into the unknown where belief confronts truth, and the journey into the paranormal becomes a quest for survival. Coming to Hulu and Fox. October 13, 2024.
I just can't see her as Scully anymore because I've seen her in so many good comedic roles.
Sex Education.
Especially, Sex Education and a couple other things. And I just can't see her as Scully. And especially now that when I watched X-Files, I had no idea she was a Pommy. And now that I know she's a Pommy...
You want to hear that accent?
I just can't hear her without her English accent.
Yeah.
My last one leads us into, as a nice segue into what we talk about next. So do you have any more, Brock?
No.
Go for it.
So we're about to start talking about the Miss McMahon TV show, TV documentary. So, leading to that, former longtime chairman Vince McMahon reportedly made several attempts to prevent the upcoming Netflix docuseries. He tried to buy all the footage, intending to kill it before it got aired.
Yeah, so we read a couple episodes ago. We read the thing he released before the show was released.
The day the show came out, it got released. Yeah.
He's like, it puts me in a bad light. So personally, I did not think it put him in a bad light at all. In my opinion, like he's a prick, and it showed that he was a prick, but it also showed he was a prick as a businessman, kind of thing. And like,
I think
the last episode obviously was very much.
It did, but it didn't. There were, I think, in the last episode, you see Bruce Pritchard come out and say, "Be asked, have you seen? You've seen the first few episodes. What do you think?" And he basically says it's a gotcha piece. And there are parts where I see that it kind of is, because I was expecting to see more of the wrestlers and things talking about Vince and his impact on them per se, and it was more.
It's one of those things where I think the direction of the show changed.
Oh, you can tell the change. Yes.
When I watched episode 1 and 2, I genuinely thought that on the back of episode 1 and 2, it was meant to be a documentary, not about Vince, but about the WWE.
Yeah.
And kind of done because of WWE moving to Netflix, et cetera, like whatever the reason was, I thought it was more about WWE, just the way that it's set through. And because of the recent events with Vince, they thought, fuck it, let's do it about Vince and just run with that through the show. That was the aura that I got for the first, until it got to that scene where with old mate, and he said about like just the way he spoke. I'm like, oh, okay, no, this was always about Vince, but the direction definitely changed anyways.
But like, I think you're kind of right there. Is it was going to be the creation of WWE through Vince's eyes, and hearing his ideas and thought process between different stages, and like. It was, as I said, the first 2 episodes were fantastic. I really enjoyed seeing how he came up and got the company from his father, and how he had that 3-part payment plan, was actually paying Vince's dad with the money that Vince's dad would have had if he had have stayed in charge, and all that sort of process leading into it. I found that really interesting and got into it partly because I know a lot more about the recent WWE. I didn't really know much about it at that time, so learning about that was really quite interesting. But then... yeah, as it went on, it moved more away from the business and more into Vince as a man and his sort of allegations and all those things he's sort of faced.
I found it the other way around. I found that episode 1 and 2, like I enjoyed those tidbits that were scattered through there, but I found them super repetitive, just more or less honing in on Vince did this and then Vince did this and then Vince did this, but it was the same sort of thing or same event that they were talking about. And I felt, episode 1 and 2, I was like, oh, fuck, is this the way it's going? But then 3, 4, and 5, I'm like, okay, no, this is actually really enjoyable. So 3, 4, and 5 really brought it home for me. And then 6, a little bit slow, but still enjoyed it. And because I found that those middle episodes were far more around...
it's pretty much because that's when it went from we've become a household name to we're worth millions.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And that period of their life.
And the way that sort of evolved. I mean, there was a few episodes where it was heavily revolving around Eric Bischoff and Vince. And
I love Eric Bischoff in that.
He's a legend.
He's just, the WCW storyline there, where like learning and hearing both sides was really cool. Like Bischoff going.
See, I knew all that stuff beforehand. I just loved that.
See, I didn't know any of this sort of stuff. So for me, that was that was what I was more so interested in, because we know we got the character Mr. McMahon, we've got Vince McMahon, but one of the things that they earth through the thing is like the Mr. McMahon character is Vince McMahon amped.
Yeah.
And that's
amped up.
But that's where I thought we would see more of in the documentary. Like we've only ever seen Mr. McMahon on the TV screen. I thought we were going to get more insights into his home life, or him with his grandkids and things like that. But we never got that human side of him. We only ever really, even in the documentary, still just saw the character side, which we've all seen if you've ever watched wrestling.
And I suppose that was one of the things that, like with the way that they did that, you see the Mr. McMahon character, you get told that it's Vince amped to 10, and then they show you not what he's done, but they show you the cases that have been settled because of what he's done.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, well, what I got from it is that they're more or less saying Mr. McMahon is fucking Vince McMahon. Like, that's what I sort of got from it. It's not that it's him amped up. Like, on screen, it's overacted. Like, the screaming, the yelling, the
Power strut.
the fucking power strut that he does and whatnot. But, I feel that this would have been a better documentary as a whole if... Firstly, I did enjoy it as a whole, but I think it would have been better if they leaned one way or the other. Either lean into the fact that you are putting Vince McMahon on trial and you are fucking highlighting all of these things that he's done, all the cases, actually go into them, bring them out, show them to light, actually hone in on that, or fucking hone in on what has been created through the WWE over the years and how the wrestlers have sort of interacted with Vince and the WWE.
In my opinion, that's what I felt the series was. I personally did not see it as a witch hunt against McMahon or anything like that. I saw it as the process of the creation of the WWE and the continued rise of the WWE through this man's power.
But that's what I mean. It wasn't a witch hunt, but it also wasn't the rise of power. It was in the middle. It was, hey, this is what is being done to bring WWE up, but also Vince McMahon's a dick and he did this. And it didn't sort of fall one way or the other. It just gave half information here and it gave half information here. So it didn't drive either one of them home, if you know what I mean.
I didn't say it that way.
Yeah, okay.
Personally.
Yeah, I kind of do agree with Brock. I think it was a bit of both because there was I think it was the very first episode right at the start where they show a few bits and pieces and it comes up with most of these interviews were shot in 2022 before the recent allegations, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden the allegation, like a brief blurb of an allegation comes up and then it cuts to Vince saying something clearly 2 years before that allegation gets caught live. So there were some of the editing was definitely designed to do that.
I'm going to tell you right now that this was filmed before, but that's legal.
Yeah.
They legally would have had to have put that.
No, but so legally they had to do it. But then following that up with the clip they did was their choice.
You can certainly tell it has been re-edited since the allegations because, I mean, just the sheer fact of The Rock, who is a board member of the WWE, is in it once.
Yeah.
I think.
And that's the thing. Like from a person's who are in it perspective, I mean, there's a whole swag of faces, but most prominently you've got Vince, Shane, and Stephanie.
But they weren't really in it as much as I thought they would be.
I thought they'd be in it more, but they're still two of the more prominent.
Well, they were
in
it later on more because mainly they become
exactly
execs and stuff.
And then you've got Hulk Hogan. He is fucking smashed.
He's everywhere over the start of it. Yeah.
To be fair, he is like the back that WWE is built on.
Exactly. And then you've got Eric Bischoff. He's massive through the middle and sort of have tidbits either side. But then you've got Dave Meltzer and Bruce Pritchard. They're probably, I think those are the main people that you see come back to.
Dave is probably one of the most well-known wrestling reporters, like dirt sheet writers, all that sort of thing. So it made sense that he was in there. And then, he had a few of the other wrestling authors and things put in their 2 cents throughout. So, But so it was I expect to see more from wrestlers like John Cena and Triple H really is in it, but someone that's been in it for the protracted period he wasn't in the documentary as much as I thought it was.
He's pretty much taken over McMahon.
He's the new McMahon sort of thing. So
I just love, and like I knew this before the documentary, but I just love that they had a storyline where they were a fake married couple, which led to them becoming a real life married couple.
That was pretty funny.
Don't date a wrestler. Oh, Dad, you actually forced me to date the wrestler, and
I don't know about you guys, but the last episode, the Shane McMahon part, where he came back out, jumped off, and he's like, "My dad finally gave me a hug and a pound." I fucking cried.
Really?
I cried.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, I could feel it coming, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking cry. And then as soon as like it cuts back to Shane, and he goes, "That was the first time my dad's ever said I'm proud of you," and I just went, oh, "For fuck's sakes, man! Oh my god, I did not expect this from this fucking show."
Didn't quite cry, but it definitely hit the feels that part. But see, I was expecting more of those, like things like that where he. you saw that more the humanity side of Vince rather than just the egomaniacal boss character. So,
and I think in seeing,
in all honesty, I don't think he's probably got much humanity because
but
he's very similar to his old man.
Yeah, but then and that was raised right at the start when he basically said, I was grew up in with my stepfather that beat me every day, and I just that was the time you just dealt with it and you just got out as soon as you can. But even then, like at the end when Bruce Pritchard is having his sort of rant at the directors, he then goes, well, you didn't see the side where Vince paid for my wife's medical care, who was given 4 years and has 24 years later is still there. But like there are anecdotes, like you probably know this, I don't know if you will, but the Royal Rumble where Cena and Batista get thrown out accidentally at the same time, Vince comes strutting down to fix it, but at the moment he gets to the ring, he tears both quads at the same time, and then gets in the ring and trying to stand up, and he's flailing around because he's got no quads, ends up sitting in the ring and trying to direct the show from there. But things like that, which sort of give you the lighter side, and that he doesn't stop working. Like, no, he tore both quads, he still wanted to go. Like, interesting stories like that you don't really hear behind the scenes about Vince would have helped to create him as more of a human person rather than...
But I don't think they wanted to. Like, and it's evident that they didn't want to, especially with all of the allegations.
And that's where I think
out.
it's hard. I think with those allegations, it forced them into a hard spot where you can't really turn him into a cute, funny guy, which, as I just said, I don't know if I think
I honestly don't think it would have ever been that.
No.
Because I think the idea of the doco was McMahon versus Vince McMahon. There's no real separation. I think that was the intention all along.
To me, that sort of plays against him with these convictions of saying, the Mr. McMahon, because he's saying the Mr. McMahon character does those things, not me. But saying that the McMahon character and McMahon are the same person sort of plays against him. Well, we've seen you do those things, so you probably would do them off screen as well.
It was all obviously made before any of this came out, but there's always been allegations against him for these things.
Yeah, exactly.
But who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Some of the things that I enjoyed about the show anyways, I quite liked hearing the old school compared to the younger generation. For example, the Undertalker, when he was talking about the heel baby the Undertalker, when he was taking
his other brother,
when he's taking about. So the Undertaker, when he is talking about the heel and babyface component and how the clique being Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash,
he was not a fan of that,
and how they broke character Madison Square Garden in '96, and how he was sort of had that. Well, what the fuck are you guys doing? And how there was also the other wrestlers who sort of lent into the fact of they did what you are not allowed to fucking do. And Vince sort of comes onto the screen and goes, yeah, I kind of said they could do that, and I didn't know they were going to do that. Like, some of those things were
that's it. Well,
funny to see.
So The Undertaker is probably the most well-known case of not breaking character, considering he never did interviews or anything like that until he retired. Like, he never broke character.
I think when he went to Badass,
who was that? Sorry,
Undertaker. But even then, like, he still like.
And when he went to the American Badass, that's when he started doing interviews and stuff like that. But then he went back to the
I mean, like, sort of outside of the ring interviews, sort of thing. But like, even then, like.
No, he used to go on talk shows and stuff when he was the American Badass.
Oh, okay.
But when he went back to the Undertaker, he stopped doing them.
But yeah, even then, like, he still dressed. Like, whatever persona was he was playing on screen, he dressed like that out in public. Like, he never broke character.
Tony Atlas.
Whoever
got him onto the show and gave him free reign, thank you. You'd say it's like he was a fucking loose unit. It's like, I don't reckon McMahon would have wanted him on the show because of the shit that he was saying. It was like, did you guys do this? He's like, oh, hell yeah, we did that. Well, we wouldn't want anybody else to know that, but yeah, we fucking did that. It's like, what are you saying?
Like the part with the reporter where it cuts everyone else saying, no, Vince never told us that. No. 100% Vince told us to do it. Didn't tell us to do it, but he told us to do it.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't tell us to do it, but he walked into the room and said, if someone did this, and then walked out of the room. And so I took that upon myself and thought, I better fucking do this then.
And you're just like, fucking hell. Like, I thought he was great. He was no holds barred. Whatever he was asked, he answered just so off the cuff and just direct with yeah, fuck it. This is what fucking happened. It was awesome.
I thoroughly
It was
enjoyed the
awesome.
part where the Triple H was talking about, like, they go like, are you embarrassed by some of the things you've done? He goes, look, it was a different time back then. Like, would we do it now? No. Would we do it back then? Fuck yeah, I'd do it again.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the scene of him in the coffin mimicking Kane, throwing brains at the screens. Like, yeah, it's just some of the shit they did.
It's fucking wild, some of the shit that they did.
Oh,
Like, it was fucking out
if you
there.
go back and watch some of the Raw episodes,
Yeah.
like, I'm amazed it's still there.
I honestly feel bad for the women.
Oh, 100% you do.
God, the divas back in the day. Like, but
They were treated like shit.
I did enjoy Trish Stratus, who I never actually realized that was her real name until watching this documentary.
it's Stratus something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy, like, when people are like, oh, how, this happened, that, and she's like, no, I was 100% in on that. These were my ideas.
Yeah,
and, like,
barking like a dog.
And his wife was like, oh, maybe if you did this, it'd be better for the story and stuff.
It's like, and I think she gave an element of like, well, if things like this happen in movies, even today, like they happen in movies, it's just that it's in a live environment that we're doing it. So
yeah, and that they were aware of their role. Like, I'm not saying it was good looking back on it now, but they were aware of we're here for sex. Like, we're here to sex sells, and that's what we're bringing. We're bringing that sex appeal.
And one of the other interesting things that they didn't really touch on is they definitely said it and tried to drive it home at a few points from what Vince was saying is we weren't necessarily creating or writing the curve, but fuck, we were following it.
Yeah.
So all of these things were already occurring on the other channels, the other big things that were like selling and getting ratings and whatnot. So then we
took it and
adopted
amplified it.
and
I said, but the problem
turned
they
it up
faced
like
was
that.
obviously is they were more aimed at kid or a lot more accessible to kids, and a lot of the things they were following were trends for the teenagers and adults. So,
I also loved the other statement. I can't remember the exact words of it, but it was wrestling fans are stupid. And then I think it might have been Triple H.
Triple H
said it.
yeah.
And he goes, no, wrestling fans aren't stupid. Wrestling fans are probably the smartest fans because they understand that it's fake and it's a sitcom, a soap opera, and they can dive into the illusion and just enjoy themselves.
Exactly. Enjoy the characters, the storylines. Yeah,
100%.
Which is 100% great. But in all, I really enjoyed the series. I thought it was a great series.
I enjoyed it. Highs and lows.
There were good parts and there were bad parts. But I really enjoyed watching the history of the WWE from that point of view because most of that stuff I knew. I just didn't know it from those points of the more McMahon orientated point of view.
It was interesting to see him be the typical businessman that pretzels and changes things to suit
Oh
his
yeah,
narrative.
100%.
Like,
You could tell him. You could just watch his face twisting things.
When he's buying the terrorists at start, like, I'm going to take your best wrestler. I'm going to take your best wrestler, and then WCW starts to him like, no, that's not business. That's not how you do it.
It's different.
When I did it because I was competing. They were just doing it to put us out of business, and we're like, isn't that the same thing? Well, no. Like, I'm doing this and they're doing that. It's completely different. No.
And then he realized that he got called out, so he kind of went, I'm done.
But no, I said overall, like, I did thoroughly enjoy it. Like I said, I sat down and watched it in one sitting, all 6 episodes, and it was quite easy to watch and quite enjoyable. I said I was just kind of hoping for more tidbits that I didn't know because I said I knew a lot of those storylines, bar things from the early days, like seeing how WrestleMania 1 came about, being on his family holiday, and the idea, it's meant to be taking 2 or 3 days away from work, and he spent the whole day thinking about work. That was the kind of stuff I was interested in and looking forward for a bit more, and it was just a bit disappointing I missed out on some of those. But I said you get it, like when he informs Undertaker that he broke the streak. That was interesting, and then led to another controversial moment of Vince saying no, Undertaker wasn't concussed. He was just in shock that I told him he was going to lose at WrestleMania for the first time.
Yeah.
All right, PAX.
I'd probably give it. I'll go. It's either a 6 or a 7. I'll go a 7 because there were probably more moments I enjoyed than didn't. I just wish to bump it up more. I think it needed for me to either have more Vince-centered things or more on the, as Brock said, more on the allegations. I think it was a bit too 50-50 at times.
Yeah, I think as I said, they just got a little bit lost as to what they wanted to really drive home. I'm going to give it 6 packs. I enjoyed it. I do recommend to give it a watch.
My wife watched most of the scenes until got to midnight. She fell asleep, but she was enjoying it. She was enjoying the documentary side of it.
I would honestly like to go out and watch a bit more of like wrestling documentary elements just to see a bit more of that history. I'd like to read or look into a bit more of that
even if
history.
you watch, because they're made by the WWE, but watch the WWE docos. They're really interesting. They're really
And
good.
then if you
the
want-
Rock's one's really good.
If you
So
want
is
more of
Mankind's.
that behind the scenes, like the dark side of it, there's the dark side of the ring, I think it's called, where they go and do like exposés on some of those negative aspects of the wrestling business.
I'm going to go 8 packs. I loved it. I thought it was great. Although I think I'm a bigger wrestling fan than both of you guys,
Yes.
so it was more aimed a little bit more at me as well.
I said, you probably are a little bit more than me. I said I'm still well versed, but I just wanted to find out more things I didn't know, and it's the later ones covered a lot of the things that I didn't know. So
For those of you at home playing, if you would like to watch some good wrestling documentaries, like I just mentioned, The Rock's doco made by WWE is really good. Listening to him talk about his career, and Mankind's is phenomenal.
I think Mankind's got a book as well.
He's
Mankind's
a
got
New York
heaps.
Times bestseller multiple times.
Mick Foley
That's what I
is everywhere.
And there is another really good documentary. This is an older one. It's called Beyond the Mat, and it is the documentary of ECW,
Okay.
Yeah,
which is really good.
See, that was another thing I thought that we were going to touch more on is the acquisition of ECW, because that was a big thing at the time with him sort of taking over another company.
Well, WCW happened first,
Yeah.
and that was the big one.
That was the main one, yeah.
ECW was never really a competitor because they were extreme, like the extreme style thing. Which,
what do you call it? A feeder or whatever to feed into?
No, it was its own separate
it
thing.
was,
It was
yeah,
just
but it was
was.
like they were belting the shit out of each other, barbed wire and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but they talk about it in the
Yeah,
show.
oh, yeah,
how
yeah,
they
like,
do mention
somewhere to like.
But that was
get the
that was
talent
before this, because they kind of after that point they shot up in popularity as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they never really mentioned I think they mentioned AEW like once.
yeah, it's only mentioned
Which
once.
is that's their big that's the new WCW essentially.
Sure.
I would also recommend going to watch the Steve Austin Broken Skull podcast, where he interviews different wrestlers. It's very informative. He interviews older and more current ones, so definitely something to watch.
Okay, and lastly in this episode, we are briefly going to touch on the first 2 episodes, or first 3 episodes, sorry, of what's it called again?
Agatha
All
Along.
Along. I was going to say All Along. Agatha.
I was about to call it fucking Agnes all along.
So, fucking great.
I love 2 and 3. 1, I have one.
Yeah, but that 1 was a bit slow, but they had to set it up.
So
yeah,
we-
no, I
I was happy with the pace of 1 because they could have made it so much slower.
Oh,
I'm so
No,
happy
that's the-
they
I-
okay.
didn't.
So first off,
Yes.
I'd almost rather them have either set it up that way and had the reveal quicker, and then have her go around trying to figure out what's been going on for a bit more leading up to episode 2, or have the different reality, so to speak, go for a bit longer, because it just felt like it was.
nah, they went through that way too much in WandaVision, in my opinion. And
But listen, I'd rather have gone for part A of that and gone for maybe 20 or 15 minutes of the episode, not 3/4 of it. Like
I felt it was well timed, in my opinion. Like it was good,
And I
because
think
you always knew it was going to be the first
yeah.
episode.
And I think there might be some callbacks to some of those elements as well at some point in time because they didn't actually see who the dead body was either. So, like,
Well, the dead body was never there.
that
Was they reckon that is the rumor is that is the Darkhold in her mind.
okay. Cool.
Is
I hadn't seen that.
because like the book tag on the toe.
Yep.
And it was the order was Wanda was
Yeah.
her then Wanda.
Wanda. Yeah. Because I had read somewhere ages ago that body was Wanda, and there was an idea of her at the start being Agnes, and her playing through that. And when I first seen that, I'm like, oh no, because the acting was horrible. It was like, but once she sort of breaks out of that character and goes into Agatha, you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I love how bad the acting was.
I thought it was great once it had broken,
Yeah.
and I could look back and go, okay, no, that was well done, because it had that aura of playing so poorly into what it was happening that it sort of alluded to the spell breaking.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of thought, hey, what if the body was Wanda, and that was her seeing the spell kind of breaking because Wanda put the spell in place, so to speak. When I first seen it,
love that all the other actors in the like the other people, they were actually doing that.
Yeah.
But like they were like, oh, she's just having a mental break, so we've got to play along. I love that reveal.
How fucking funny was it though? Once she's finally broken out and she goes, like she throws a scarf over the shoulder and goes, "It's all right, I'll drive," and just walks into her study and gets down and goes, "Teen, you need to drive." And walks back out. It was so fucking good, so simple.
And my favorite thing to come out of this show so far is all of the memes of Audrey Plaza, and it's mainly females posting memes going, "I think I'm a lesbian now."
Bloody hell. Bloody hell.
So, two things have already been ruined for this show. Thanks to Funko Pop vinyls.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We know who the teen is.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know who the teen is because I seen We Know Who the Teen flicked it.
So
And we know who Audrey Plaza is.
yes.
So I don't know that I have a thought of who the teen is.
Yep.
I'm going to say it's her son that she gave away.
Yeah, they allude to that pretty early.
That's what,
So that's alluded to in the second episode. They mentioned him multiple times and very heavily alluded to in the third episode. Yeah, the one where they're in the housewives thing. I mean, it's very obvious who it is. Block your ears if you don't want to know, but here we go. He's blocking your ears. So it's Wiccan, which is Scarlet Witch's son.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, you good?
I know it. I don't know anything about that character, so it's fine.
Yeah. So it's very obvious who it is, especially when you look back. Like I guessed that's who it was from the get-go, simply because of the stitches on his mouth.
No, see, I thought that was the signal put in place by whoever took him, and that's why it made me lead to the fact I thought it was her son.
Yeah. And then Audrey Plaza. Do you know who Audrey Plaza is?
No, I don't actually.
So Audrey Plaza is Death.
I think I did
is
know
Lady
that.
Death.
I think I did know that actually.
So they're playing her off as she's a witch, but she's
Yeah.
actually Lady Death.
Yeah, okay.
Who is a major character in Marvel.
Yeah.
She's essentially Thanos' girlfriend
Yeah.
for a while. Deadpool marries her, I believe, in the comics.
Thanos
makes
tries
sense.
to.
And the whole Infinity Gauntlet saga in the comics is because of Death.
Yeah.
Because Thanos is trying to impress her.
Look what I've done for you.
Yeah.
Because this is my bride present or something like
something
that.
like
Wedding gift.
So Audrey
It was
Plaza
worded
is
very
quite
differently.
possibly
Right.
one of the biggest characters to be revealed in Marvel in a long time.
Oh, that'd be cool then. No, but as I said, overall, I enjoyed. I know a lot of the characters in the cast have got flack, but I enjoyed the chemistry between them, especially.
Chemistry's been great.
That 70s show?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she was great.
I'm assuming she's not dead because of the way she died. It was
Well,
a
the
bit.
next episode, from the teaser images they've shown and stuff, Audrey Plaza is in the next episode again. And because she's a green witch in the show.
Yeah.
So she will be, I'm guessing she will replace, but I don't think they'd kill her off, but I don't know.
I just seen the way she does die in episode 3. It is just like, oh,
Well, at the end of the episode,
I think she's dead.
at the end of the
Because
episode,
I just don't want her to be.
Because the other thing is that when they're making the potion, they
that's
don't
it.
put her
They
hair
don't
in
put
the
her
potion.
hair in it.
yeah, that's true.
That's why it doesn't work.
Because that's
on
why I thought it wasn't working at the start. It wasn't
Yeah.
they needed the blood. It was
Because the whole time they're
forgot
doing it,
about her
I'm
on
like,
the table.
they forgot about her hair. They forgot about her hair.
She's on the table.
If she's back, then she dies. I'm like, they forgot about her hair. That's why it didn't work.
No, you're doing it.
And the second episode, the song.
So far, oh yeah.
Oh, that song.
Down, down.
Bam. Fucking yes. I love that shit. And then the seven witches.
I didn't.
Oh, I liked it.
Okay, so
The harmonizing.
I liked
started slow,
I
but
liked
when-
it, but I didn't like
Oh,
it.
yeah, the point
Like-
in the movie of the
Yeah.
show sort of thing, but I liked the song.
Yeah,
It sounded good.
The song sounded great. It hit well. It just
And what were the seven called?
Salem 7.
Salem 7. That's it. Yeah,
that was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
That's
that
gonna
was
come
cool.
out.
And
Cool.
I had like that.
Yeah.
Silent
The way
Hill
they
nurse
fucking-
style movement.
Old mate comes down the stairs like on his belly. I was like, that was fucking sick.
Yeah, that was awesome. Visually, it's been incredible. And not just the Salem 7 piece, but in the latest episode where they had the delusions.
Oh yeah,
The delusions came across so fucking
and
well.
actually that kind of after those scenes, I went, oh, I want to know more about these characters.
Oh, 100%.
Just those little snippets really invested me in those characters.
Yeah, definitely. And I loved that whole scene when they first get into the house when Agatha is so aloof in the background, just sort of going, oh, yes.
Just checking the curtains.
Around, and then she goes, oh, yes, you can do that. While she's just sort of, you can see her taking in absolutely everything around the room while she's
and the part where like everyone else has the face and she brushes her hair over. She's like,
Let's say that's. I do love Agatha's like self-preservation skills and like I'm just better than you, so just out of my way. But one of the downsides I had for episode 3 was small is the dark woman with the hair. I got so used to in that episode seeing her with hair. And she comes out at the end, she's balding, and I'm like, oh, you look really good with hair. I want the hair back.
But the funniest part is, I'm watching. I'm like, why did they give hair? And then at the end of the day, like, you have to take hair out. It's like, that's why they gave her hair, so she could pull hair out for the potion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm like, because as soon as it did, I'm like, what would have happened if she didn't have hair?
They would have worked it out.
Yeah,
does it have to be hair off the head?
Yeah.
Nose
She
hair.
might have other hair.
I
Yeah.
fucking knew you were going to do that. I loved how, again, just talking into Catherine as Agatha, she aloof, but she gets those real emotional bits, like when she goes up to her, the potions witch, and gets right up in her grills, and she's being so emotive and supportive and like, fucking, you can do this. You got drawn into that so well. But then 3 minutes later, she's pushing them aside because she's covered in water and it's like, get out of my way. It's like, oh, fuck, that plays into it so well.
So, question, is she eventually going to turn into a villain in the...
Agatha is... I've just got to make sure I get my history.
Because I get the feeling that like in the comic she's a villain.
So for those of you at home, this may be wrong. Chuck it in the comments if it is. But she is introduced into the show, into the comics. She is the nanny, because she's old, like white-haired, sort of Aunt May style character in the comics. She's introduced as the nanny to Scarlet Witch and Vision's kids in like older versions of the comics.
Yeah, makes
like
sense.
Golden Age style stuff. And then she's revealed to be a witch later on, and she's kind of the covenant, and she is a baddie, I believe, in the comics.
So my understanding is that she was a baddie and typically runs down that baddie route. When we were talking about the trailer, I know that we spoke about this being a little more... It kind of seemed like they were going to be more so baddies, or at least she was going to be bad at the end of it. This has got real big anti-hero vibes about it already.
That's what I say. Like it's like especially with the Salem 7 coming to hunt her down and things like that. So like obviously we're persuaded to root and cheer for Agatha, but is that the payoff that is expected, or are we going to be sort of blindsided there? And
the thing is, you make the villain a protagonist, you're going to cheer for the villain. That's what it is. Essentially, they stop becoming the villain. And people throw around the term anti-hero. She's still a baddie. It's just that you're cheering for her because there is no goodie to cheer for. Generally, she's a baddie. And to make her the goodie, you have to put someone badder in it as the baddie, which essentially will be Mephisto, because they've mentioned him.
Yeah, but my thing is that it'll probably have an element where, yes, that'll be a baddie and whatnot, but because of the way that it heads down that route, will it stay as them being the lesser of two evils, or will she become the good person?
Oh, she'll walk that line throughout all. Anything else she's in, she'll walk the line of, I'm just going to do what's best for me.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a baddie. It's just doing what's best for her as a person.
Yeah, self-preservation.
That's it.
Whereas some of the things that I've seen so far make me think that she's going to lean further into walking on the lighter side of that line.
Yeah, and that's
purely because of the way they seem to be developing that character. Yes, she's still pushing people aside, but she's also supporting.
Yeah, and
as well.
So that's what that scene there with the encouragement sort of spoke to me of. She's going to be the bitch throughout, but then have those moments where she comes through and supports and saves the day in the last
and
episode.
especially from the way that it showed like that the baby crying and the way that she reacted to that, because if it was that pure evil factor, like she wouldn't have reacted like that.
Because I mean, she's going to be one of the major players in the mystical side of the Marvel universe. So
Yes.
you'll have your Doctor Strange, you'll have Cleo, Doctor Strange's wife, played by Charlize Theron. Then you'll have her, you'll have Wanda, who she's pretty much said she's coming back unofficially. Because all the baddies on that side of things are your Mephistos, your Dormammu's, like these big multi-dimensional fucking demonic things.
Yep.
So like the baddies in those in that realm are like fucking baddies.
Yeah.
So anyone who's semi-bad, like Cleo I think she's the daughter of Mephisto.
I've never actually looked into her.
I believe she's the daughter of one of the demons or something like that.
And then my next question is going to be: does Doctor Strange 2 have any links with this? Do I need to watch it before I watch the rest of Agatha?
No, not that I know of. But at the moment, the only link is Wanda Maximoff dying.
Yeah. Okay.
Wanda's dead.
Where's the spoiler?
And that's, as far as I can tell, that's really the only link. It's like WandaVision, like it's heavily linked to WandaVision. And
Yeah.
Well, they're in Westview.
I said the only reason I ask is I saw a post about a book that is in. It's only like where it's popped up, and it popped up in Strange 2. So
well, the Darkhold was in WandaVision as well.
Yeah, but you got the Book of the Light or the Book of Ethereal or whatever it is.
So essentially,
just didn't know if there was more information that comes into light in Strange 2 that I need to watch.
It was one of the books in the library that Doctor in number 1. And like kind of stuff, but I think from memory in number 1, when he's learning, he goes past and like that book is missing. It was like one of the chained up ones, and essentially it was stolen from Kamatage.
Yeah,
and so she's essentially had it, and she had to give up her kid to get it.
Yeah,
essentially.
But now it's been destroyed, and all remnants of it have been destroyed by Wanda. And the idea was that she destroyed it in every universe. Witch's Road, you never know. One of them might jump in and go, I won the Darkhold. Yeah. And then it comes back.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying the series so far. And also,
really
fun fact, this is the cheapest Marvel show that has been produced.
Well, they can just keep using the one section of the road. We're not going to tell.
And it is heavily based on / drawn from The Wizard of Oz.
I see that too.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, they've got comics to draw on, but let's go to The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Oh, there's not that many Agatha comics. I don't think she's ever had a solo. I think she's got there's a series currently out called The House of Agatha, I think it's called, or something like that. But it's based on like a young Agatha in like school kind of thing. Like, I think it's like a young...
Right, so like old school, like 1600s type thing?
Like,
she's meant to be like super old.
It's like a young adult sort of readaptation kind of thing.
Freaky Friday-esque. She just inhabits someone else's body.
But I will continue watching it, and I cannot wait for Halloween for the big 2-episode finale. And I reckon there's going to be some good little tidbits that are going to lead to the future of Marvel.
Yeah, I like how they've done that. Because this is the next thing we've got until Captain America, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so. I think Captain America.
Like I don't know if it'll have anything that leads into that, but it might have a little bit of a sprinkle.
Can't imagine, because we got, is it Cap first or Thunderbolts first?
Cap first.
Cap,
because that's January.
Yeah, and then Thunderbolts
May.
And is there anything else they've announced for next year?
Heaps.
Well, they're only doing two movies.
Whatever it was, they cut it
we
back.
got Daredevil.
So I think it'll be 3. Because it'll be like one start of the year, middle of the year, towards the end of the year, just to space it out. Because I think it's late Jan, early Feb that the Cap comes out. May for the next one, so I'd say maybe September, October.
Yeah, October, I'd say.
I can't imagine this will have anything to do with Cap or Thunderbolts. I imagine Cap and Thunderbolt will lead into each other.
I don't know. Maybe it'll tie back into.
Oh, sorry. Red Hulk is not in Thunderbolt. Red Hulk is in Cap.
Yeah, he is, but he hasn't been listed, but he's been rumored for Thunderbolts.
Okay.
He has actually been rumored for it.
But I, for some reason, I kept thinking the Red Hulk scene was in the Thunderbolts trailer.
Oh, no.
It wasn't. It was in the Captain America trailer.
No. I wasn't saying anything about it because he has been rumored for Thunderbolts. He's not listed on the cast.
I just didn't want to correct you because I wasn't sure, so I'm just going to go with it.
Jump in, if you're wrong, we'll jump back on it.
No, it's looking forward to it, and looking forward to October so we can give our final recap of this series.
We'll do like a big recap at the end. And
fucking oath.
I think we'll probably wait for like another 3 episodes or something coming out just before that final episode, and we'll do like another little mini review of those ones, and then maybe we'll do a big one, or we'll just do a big one at the end.
I'm thinking a big one at the end. We've given a little piece of the start of the show and what we're enjoying and whatnot. So let's round it out at the end.
Okay, well, that is the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you come to the YouTube channel on this coming Monday for the next episode of Sequelize It, where we talk about Warcraft and what we think would be great episodes for that.
Oh, it's a perler of an episode, guys.
You'll
you have to listen to this.
Feelings are hurt. Tables are flipped. It's everywhere.
I'll tell you what, the table came close to flipping. It's a great episode. Watch it.
All right, we'll see you next time, guys.
See you guys.
Hey, guys, thanks for listening to Frantic Nerdcast.
You can find all our latest news and information on Facebook or at franticnerdcast.com.
You can find us on Instagram at Frantic Nerdcast. Find AJ at Weird Art by AJ. Find Zach at Frantic Kaz and myself at Frantic Brock.
Please make sure to head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe for more YouTube-only content like Sequelize It and Plays Games.